everybody. My name is Yasmin Euphemia, aka Sugar, and I'm here with today with.
I'm Beverly, aka UK Fluffy Chick, and we are here together with
Aycan Kemal over here.
Hi, how are you?
Hello there. Good. Good morning.
Hi, thanks for joining us. We're going to go straight into it today and basically tell us a little bit about your background.
My name's Aycan Kemal. Grew up in North London, Tottenham, left school, didn't really know what to do. My mum suggested to do hairdressing. She suggested it back then. And I kind of went into it, not really, it wasn't my thing. I was a tomboy. I went really into girly things, hair and stuff. So, yeah, the start of that was where I am now, because actually I've been doing hairdressing for 34 years. So it kind of, manifested into something that I really feel passionate about. And I've worked in various salons in the past. I've actually had my own salon for 21 years now. Which is based in North London, where I kind of grew up. But yeah, I have a clientele pretty much, I do all hair types. 90% of my clientele is Afro work. I've taken part in, Afro hair and beauty, done Black Beauty Hair Awards, and I've been finalist for the British Hairdressing Awards for the past sort of 10 years. So I've just been actively involved, and that's what's been keeping my passion alive. So basically I'm in the salon as my daytime passion, and I do various things like shows, editorial works, publish, publications for magazines and stuff as well. And this is what keeps me going, keeps my mojo going, and, keeps my fire lit. And yeah, I just live in the moment still, though I'm still here progressing and still learning more. Like, there's always more to learn. It doesn't matter how long you're in the industry for, you'll always be learning more. So I'm all about that.
Okay,
excellent. You see, we got it all in one go.
Yeah, nice one.
Love it. So what inspired you? I know you touched a little bit on, how you got into it, but what was the real inspiration to say, this is what I'm gonna do?
Especially Afro hair.
Yeah, especially Afro hair, yeah.
Right. Well, basically, as I said before, my mum gave me the introduction to do it, because back then in the late 80s, it was funny that she said what she said. And this is what made me think about it. She said to me, do a career that won't involve computers or robots, because if they designed a robot to do your hair, would you want that robot to do your hair? And I said, no. She goes, exactly. So do something that's hands-on, manual work. And hair is something that you can take anywhere in the world and carry it through. Do you know what I mean? And kind of that stuck with me. And in these days, with flipping artificial intelligence, that was quite a poignant point she made back in the late 80s. And the fact that I left school, it was a bit like doing something. I wanted to just leave school. I didn't want to study like my sister, carry on education. I just wanted to kind of make money and get a career backing me up, you know what I mean? So I kind of did that. And then the hair thing, now I was placed on the UTF's, what's it called? YTS rather.
YTS.
Do we remember that?
Yes, I left England in the 80s, so I don't know what was going on over here.
Okay, so it was a good scheme, you get paid to learn a trade, and it's, kind of like apprenticeship, but you are based in a work placement for 4 days of the week, and then 1 day of the week you're in college. So you're kind of getting your qualifications, and you're getting involved in the activity of the work. So, with hairdressing, you start from scratch anyhow. So, I'm doing all the works, all the sweeping, the observing, the making teas and coffees and kind of client preparation and things like that. But I'm learning as I go. So that was from the starting point. Did the YTS scheme for 2 years. My salon that I was based in, funny enough, was in Wood Green. It was a salon called Heads First, a very large company. The Steiners were the owners of it. They were pretty much involved with the QE2 ships, and they had Waldorf Street. They had a salon up there. They basically were predominantly European salon. However, I was working alongside the one Afro stylist. So she and I, basically, she like took to me. I was a young girl, just left school, and she just kind of, we got on. We were both Aries, bit of a mother figure to me, you know, a bit older than me, but she kind of coached me up a lot, and in particular with Afro hair. So I was working side by side with Joyce, like literally until I finished my course. And then when I finished my course, I left to be a junior stylist somewhere else, and that was in Tottenham, Bruce Grove. It was a brand new salon, and being in the heart of Bruce Grove, Tottenham, it was predominantly 99.9% Afro work. So I took my Afro skills, built up myself from there, and a lot of my clientele up to now have been coming to me since them days, and that was like 1990, 91, 92. And I just carried on, So like I said, I specialize in all hair types. But it was that starting point of learning like to deal with all hair types and Afro hair in particular, because people back then were frightened to deal with Afro hair, especially if they were in a European salon. They just wouldn't go there. And I wasn't like that. I was kind of more excited to learn it, to think, what is the problem? Do you know what I mean? Like, nothing's a problem if you're keen to want to know. Yeah. And I was keen to want to know, because to me, it's not a problem when you know. So I carried on, and the passion kept me going. I think up until that point, I did have, you know, a couple of my children. So I was on maternity leave. So I had little breaks in between. I was doing hair in between part-time. And then, you know, later on, I ended up working for the same woman who trained me back in the days, in the 80s. Joyce, she had her own salon in Wood Green. And she asked me if I was looking for part-time work. I said, yeah. And there I was. I was there for about 6 years. My clientele followed me, as they do. And it was just actively being involved. And I think Joyce, she is the one that got me to organise a photo shoot. So we were going to do like a coverage in Black Beauty and Hair, and she asked me to kind of organise that. And I knew a photographer at the time. I went to school with his brother, but he was doing a lot of work for Black Beauty and Hair magazine, Richard. And so basically, I got in touch with Richard, and we organised this shoot. And that was probably just the last year before leaving Joyce's. We done the shoot, and they featured us in Black Beauty and Hair. So that was my first proper editorial or proper media coverage. And then, as it were, time goes on, and you kind of think how you're going to move forward with any changes. And as much as I love Joyce up to now, you know what I mean, we got on so good, but I felt that it was my time to leave. And therefore I kind of continued my passion, but I was kind of looking for a little quarters, like a little premises that I can function by myself. I just had this thing about working alone and kind of giving my clients a one-to-one service. And that's exactly what I've done and have been doing for the 21 years. It was all about that, and also getting involved with the hair awards, because Black Beauty and Hair did their sponsorship was with WOW, and I kind of could see what was going on. I wanted to be part of that, and I kind of did my first own editorial shoot with the same photographer, Richard. And I basically entered my first competition in Black Beauty Hair, and it was a braid category, and I was a finalist, and on the night I won. And that really kind of like, I was surprised, because I didn't really expect to win, but it was the first time, and there's a first time for everything. But I was more excited about going forward, win or lose. It was just that involvement that excited me. But to win, it was a bonus. And because it was the first year that I opened my salon, winning was quite significant, because I felt that I put myself on the map already. So 1 year in opening my salon, I won the award. And that was a really nice feeling, not just the recognition, but it was almost like I achieved something that I could start having a new business to do. So, that win just got me involved every year. Like, I would always do shoots, and even up to now I'm still doing editorial shoots, because it makes me happy. I like to put my input and add a little bit of my contribution to the industry. And I love hair, and it's my way of expressing that. And every year I'll think of a mood, a theme, so you kind of think collectively how you're going to do this editorial shoot, and what's the mood going to be. And I've just really got a lovely team behind me. My makeup artist, who I've used from day one, Nikki Bassi, she's brilliant. She's done my makeup from day one, from the times with Richard, and all the other shoots I've done along the way. And I've had a couple of photographers now I'm working with, someone called Desmond Murray, who is renowned in the hair industry. People may know him pretty much for being a Hall of Fame for Afro British Hairdresser of the Year.
Okay.
He's got a good eye for the industry, and that was something I needed to grow on, because whilst I was doing Black Beauty back in the days, I didn't really have anyone to coach me. I was kind of just learning as I go, which is fine.
Yeah.
But Desmond, when I met him, he pretty much gave me a good insight to the industry and where I would need to be and where I need to get my models up, get professional models instead of, you know, my best friend's daughters and stuff, you know, pretty girls, but they're not professionals. And, you know, he taught me loads of bits in between to keep this passion of mine alive. So it all tied in. So, you know, as I say, I'm still, as I am still living in the moment, but I've kind of tallied everything up as I go along, and I'm just still on my journey. And you know what, nothing in life's guaranteed, but you can't be frightened to go for yours and also put your input in there. It can be a hit or a miss, but you know, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to mean anything if you don't give it your bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to just address the elephant in the room. Yeah, that's just me. Like you said, it was in the 80s you started in the, right? So how, because I take it in that time, like I said, I wasn't in the UK, so I don't know, but I'm just saying, I take it in that time, how was the response as a non-Afro person doing Afro hair? How was it getting clients to say, trust you, as you like to say, that you can actually do their hair? How did you
100%.
find that?
Yeah, so where it was from the beginning, because Joyce, obviously, Black woman, she coached me. Right. So all her clients were, you know, of Afro work. So I was basically put in to be her backup stylist, as in her backup junior. Right. Her clients were the first set of clients to trust me, and they were all Black, yeah? So they kind of looked at me as someone new coming into the industry. I didn't ever get that vibe that it was a little bit hesitant. And then when I left and became qualified, I left, then worked in a next salon, which was more of a European salon, but I wasn't really there for that long. It was just temporary. Then when I got the job in Tottenham, in Bruce Grove, in the heart of Tottenham, that was my first proper salon to be based in, and no one would have known. Right? No one would have known, you know what I mean? I didn't know if it's going to be all Afro work, but it ended up being that. And yeah, I'd get a few people saying, oh, you can do hair, because I wouldn't really say much. I would let my actions speak louder. And I didn't have to justify myself, because I was like a teenager. I was probably about 18, 19 years old. And I could tell, because even though I grew up in Tottenham, I kind of understand how the vibe is. And from a very, very young age, like, I was surrounded by predominantly Black people, basically. Yeah. And there was a few Greeks and Turks. And as a Turkish Cypriot myself, it wasn't alien for me to fit in. And because of that, I think that just projected to people that come in contact with me. And I think especially in Tottenham area, because a lot of people knew me from school, and a lot of, you know, people I grew up with, they'd come and say, oh, you're working there. Oh, you know, let me bring someone down. They'd come and get their hair done, or I would do their family's hair. And it it was a network. And I think probably when I got recognised in Black Beauty and Hair, for example, with the hair awards and winning, because obviously they published all of that, so people would recognize me from the girl from Tottenham that started from scratch. They would be a few that probably didn't know me and would think, wow. So I would then get the odd people that would come. I'd get clients from South London, for example, saying, oh, can you braid hair? I say, yep, I can braid hair. Oh, and they'd challenge me a little bit, give me really difficult, intricate hairstyles. Seriously. And I knew that I had to have my work cut out and know what I'm doing and be confident enough to do that. And you know what? By the grace of God, I never failed a hairstyle ever. And those same clients that were testing me to see if I really got the skills, they left happy and they were satisfied. So I felt that I passed the test. But it wasn't never to get complacent. I just knew I had the skill to do it. So people would say and look at me and say, oh, where are you from? That would be the first question. Where are you from? Because they would assume that I must be mixed or something. I'll be like, no, I'm a Turkish
yeah.
Cypriot. Yeah, I'm a Turkish Cypriot. You know what I mean? And I do hair, and I always say I do all types of hair.
Yeah.
But like I said, 90% of my clientele up to now is of Afro work. So yeah, if anyone wants,
Tottenham is a melting pot, because I mean, I grew up in Tottenham for the first part, and I know, like, on my road we had quite an eclectic mix, and as youngsters we didn't see any different. Everybody was just everybody, so in and out, because one of my best friends, she was Turkish, one of my friends I should say, and was in and out of her house. They'd be making their food and they come to our house and we all play together, and we didn't see any difference.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So a lot of those friends, I take it because if I'd stayed here I would have probably had most of those friends still growing up, going to school, hanging out together, become adults, and so they would have known you from school, as you say. And then and
the other thing,
I just for me was intercept here.
Sorry.
We didn't actually ask you the name of your business.
Oh, I am currently at YorkHair Design.
YorkHair Design.
Okay, I've seen that. That's Turnpike Lane. Yes, I've seen it.
Okay.
Those who don't know where Turnpike Lane is, that's North London.
Yep, there you go.
Look at everybody's Northerners, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Your shows. We know that you've done a lot of magazine work. Just quickly, you've also got the Guinness World Book record for
fastest braider.
Good girl.
Exactly. You know, she's gonna do it. She's just gonna do the complete thing. So she's holding.
Right, man. That's great. That's great.
Excellent. And you've also been the finalist in Extreme Hair Wars, haven't you?
Very close. Very, very close. Not quite, but almost. Nearly, really? But not really.
I've got you down as a finalist. So well.
Yeah. Neck and neck with the last guy, but you know, he got it. It's fine. It was all good.
Do you know that show, Beverly? Because you might not have been here.
I miss out on everything.
Anyway, it's to do with hairdressing.
You know, like in America, in Atlanta, they have that hair competition where they do it all live, innit? Is it something?
Bronner Brothers. Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. I've been there probably about 3-4 times now.
Okay.
I went there with Joyce, the woman that trained me up with the hair. Like me and her went. The last time I went was with Joyce. But it's all good, man. I love Atlanta. I love ATL. Really, really love it. The hair show, you know, it's very broad in what they do.
I think going to the Bonner Brothers actually gives you a completely different view of your business and how it should be run. I mean, I did the Bonner Brothers as well. Came back. You stood still too long. You get your nails done, that sort of thing. which when I was here, I wouldn't even have considered doing, because why would you want to get your nails done? Of course, it's all changed now, but I'm talking about early 80s.
Of course. Okay.
All right, Aycan. So I actually cut you just a moment ago just to get the name of your business. I've mentioned about the Guinness Book of Records, that you were in the Extreme Hair Wars. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
What have I done in between? Did the Big Nasty show. Done a performance on stage with Gigs, the rapper.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was part of being a Guinness World Record holder. They called me up and said, look, you know, would like to come on the show and would you be able to come? Like, yeah, sure, why not? Big Nasty. I never actually knew he had a show at that point, but obviously he just started. I think I was on the second episode that he done, the first series of the Big Nasty show. So so I did that as well. And I had to.
So what did you do on the show? What was you doing on the show?
So basically, they invited me to come and do a head of braids in 3 minutes. On one of their guys that were like the background. He was one of the workers on channel. It was Channel 4 anyway. He was one of the workers there. He basically had a big mane of hair, like proper big long hair. And the challenge was for me to braid his hair in the 3-minute performance of Gigs. So that was my challenge. So I done it. It was all. I finished before gig set finished. Just to throw that in there, you know what I mean? Yeah.
You'll have to sing faster.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Do a little short 7-inch, not the 12-inch.
Oh, that's funny.
Excellent.
So okay, so this is your where you're at the moment with your salon, and you said publications.
Yeah.
As well. So
yeah.
where would you like to go? Where do you see yourself going with this in the long term, like in the future, like go into?
I think I'm really aiming for a British hairdressing award. And basically, you know, when I started doing competitions and stuff, they were quite not small. Well, on a scale of doing something a bit more international, they were pretty much, you know, low key, but it was pretty much just for the coverage of the Afro hair world. Yeah, because that was Black Beauty and Hair. With the British Hairdressing Awards, it's more kind of international, and they're sponsored by Swashgov, and they've been going for 30 plus years. And I have been a finalist in the Afro category for about 8 or 9 years now. Haven't won yet, but because I enjoy what I do, and I always do an editorial shoot, and then I'll submit my work to the Afro category. It's only going to be a bonus if I ever won that, but I haven't, not yet. So I think in a way my goal is to get one of them. And once I do that, I'll feel like, yeah, I've really accomplished it. It's been a long journey, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's going to take as long as it takes, isn't it? But I really love being part of the British Hairdressing Awards. In fact, next week, Monday, they've got a British Hair Awards gallery tour, and they've done that throughout the whole UK. And the last venue they're going to be doing is in London, up at the ABBA Hotel in Marble Arch, where our work as finalists will be literally out in the gallery space. And they're going to kind of, you know, it's just nice having your work put out in a hair gallery. So these were all the finalists' work that's going to be displayed at this hotel. They're going to have a little drinks reception.
Is that open to the public, or is it just...
It is, yeah, it is. And that's, you know, I mean, we were invited, obviously, as finalists.
Right.
But the British Hairdressing Award, I mean, it's a spectacular evening out. Like, you know, they have it at the Grosvenor House, and they will have Ryland Clark, for example, hosting mostly. You know, they'll have proper performances, they'll have proper hair shows, proper catwalk. That part of the industry is what Desmond Murray, my photographer, taught me about how to deal with that part and how to have an input in that. It wasn't just, you know, using, you know, your regular type models. You've got to really choose your models wisely. And when it comes to hair, let the hair speak. Creativity. When you're in that room with all those creative heads, it just makes me feel like this is where I need to be.
Yeah,
so it's my
for that, I take it.
Because
it gives you lots of design ideas for
yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
And I love being part of that. And also I've got a few friends in the industry that, you know, they're just cool people, like Lisa Farrell. She's really good at what she does, and non-black as well, but she's pretty much good for, you know, dealing with Afro hair and just being the first to break through, saying that she's what was the word she said? Texture neutral. Yeah, meaning that she's just covering everyone. And
hair is hair.
Yeah, she's won Black Beauty and Hair. She's done an amazing collection. The first time she really, really blew everyone's mind with her collection. She's done beautiful, like it was almost like a tribal theme, and the hair was looking good. The outfits, it was powerful collections, and she won. Literally, she cleaned up the awards that year. I think it was 2015. She's doing amazing things. She does Ed Sheeran's hair as well for his videos. Then you've got Anthony Grant is another hairstylist. He was basically working behind the scenes with his then team at X Factor, so he's doing like the hair for X Factor. Who else we got? Junior Green's one of my I always looked up to Junior used to work for Errol Douglas, and these are renowned Afro hairstylists. from back in the days, from Splinter days, you know, and he's someone I always like look up to and respect. So much love for Junior and his team as well. He's up there in Knightsbridge. Rick Roberts, which is from north of England, he won Afro Hairdresser of the Year 3 times. So these are names that some have like recently come into the equation and been blowing up, and then some have been there from the start, really like blowing up, but still got a name for themselves. And these are just names, just a few that keep me going. Because again, do you know what I mean? I just, you know, love my
very much a case of mixing with the people.
You just associate with them. You know how it is, Sugar, when we go to like Salon Live, for example. We go to Salon International, and it's just nice to see, like, you'll go maybe to the fellowship stage and see, you know, top renowned hairdressers doing their thing, and you just meet and mingle, and it's kind of nice vibe as well, because you kind of actively engaged in that. And again, when you are doing what you do and you have that love in your heart, it's true desire, and you know, it never lies, like the energy never lies. So if people read from me what I do, they will know that I'm passionate, and that's without me telling them I am. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Then it never lies. So I'm all about the truth, and I'll just speak who I am. When I need to speak, I speak. But if I'm ready to just do hair, you ain't gonna hear a word from me. You're just gonna see what I'm about, innit?
Yeah, that's right.
Excellent. That's a good note for us to end on now, ladies. We've come to the end of this meeting. I really appreciate and found everything that you said really, really interesting, Aycan. So I'm going to take the opportunity to say thank you and goodbye. And
my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Definitely thank you.
Nice to meet you, Beverly.
Lovely to meet you. Yeah, man, true inspiration. I love what you do, what you've been doing, what you're doing, and keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you.